What's going on YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. Sorry I'm a little late on this thing. This came out last Wednesday. It is Tuesday, basically almost a week later after this thing came out, and I never got the chance to talk about it. I saw Weathering with You last Wednesday, and basically I just kind of let that be my only upload. And that video is doing pretty well view-wise, but my audience wanted to hear me talk about this book. I got a few comments like, hey, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about this issue. So, this is kind of the culmination of the other storyline before they go into the last arc that Adam Glass is going to be writing for Teen Titans, and I guess it's supposed to go until April. Now, I have, at the time of reading this, I have read previews of the solicitations for what's coming out in April. There's going to be like 2 issues that month. There's going to be like another issue, this number 30 or 40 something. And you're also going to have the annual, and I guess spoilers for what they're going to kind of do with the annual is, based on the solicitations, it looks like the cover says Robin no more. So either Damian's going to be fired because Batman's going to find out about the whole secret prison thing, and he's going to lose his mantle, and he's probably going to get a new one. They've been teasing this fucking obnoxious future villain storyline, which I'm so sick to death of. Completely shits on years of character growth. I don't like it. I never liked it. I think it's a terrible idea, especially if you're changing somebody from villain and redeem them to become a hero. I don't like character regression. That is my biggest problem when it comes to writing Damian. Every new writer, it's like they completely ignore what just happened. It's like, okay, we got all this growth going. Let's keep pushing that forward. No. We want to regress and go back and do the same thing over. Do this, same thing over. Same thing over. We're gonna test it. They do that again in this thing, and it's infuriating. Like, I mean, you wanted to get past this. I'm like, okay, are we finally past this point? Are we gonna stop with this storyline already? Can we just move forward, pushing to be more heroic, become a better leader? This has not done that, and I'm just kind of frustrated with it because I feel like once again, Glass, when he was writing this thing, he took Damian back again. And I'm just so sick and tired of that storyline. I want to see them push forward. I don't like to see characters regress. I think it's annoying. I think it's kind of cheap when you have to regress somebody just to progress them to get back to the same thing again. I think it's cheap. I think it really is. It shows that you don't really have any ideas. So just have them just do cases or something. Show them growing as a leader, gaining more friends, and enjoying what they're doing. But no. So, now they got the little rant out of the way. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis of this issue, and we'll talk about like the pros and cons of this issue, because there's some pros in there for sure, but I do have some cons for sure. For one thing, I think this issue and this arc just ended too soon, and then there's some stuff that's just like, no, that shouldn't have happened then and there. That's still way too soon. But there are good things in here, too, that I do want to highlight. So, let's go ahead and read the synopsis and start covering this stuff. The other's identity has been revealed, which, and it's someone very close to Damian. Now that he understands the other's mission, will Damian be tempted to join him? We've seen this before. How will the rest of the team react to Roundhouse's rescue attempt after he so cruelly betrayed them? And will Djinn ever escape her ring? Okay, so we know who the other is. The other, as you know, was the heretic. He wants Damian to take over and join him. He does something. He shows him something called the Book of the Damned. All right, let's see if I can do that. Book of the Damned and all these forbidden secrets. The power containment of the book can help you free your beloved Djinn. I guess that's where the other symbol comes from. So I guess Djinn is his beloved, even though they've never really gone out or done that. I mean, he definitely has strong feelings for her. Now, it's been hinted that it could have been something to do when he put on a ring and some sort of connection formed. Or he has legit feelings, but Damian kind of changed as soon as he made contact with her. There was something kind of strange about it. So perhaps she manipulated him or something. I don't know. And even Emiko pointed that in an earlier issue. But anyways, so Damian doesn't believe him. He thinks he's full of shit. And then he activates the ring, and Damian ends up in Djinn's prison, which, this is kind of horrifying. And she calls it purgatory. So Damian's here inside the ring talking to her. He wants to try and rescue her. And she's forced to kind of relive her biggest regret, where she was forced, against her will via the ring to kill all these people thanks to her evil brother Elias. So we have that whole thing. Then we also get this stuff here with Roundhouse. And I don't like... I kind of wish he would have stayed a villain. I feel like this is way too soon for the whole redemption thing. He's just... The way he's talking to them, it's like, sorry guys, I just did a little bad thing. No, you basically kidnapped them. You got them involved when they shouldn't have been involved at all. And the only person you should have had beefs with was Damian, who still has not fucking apologized for what happened. And they still don't make him apologize. They make him an unlikable dick. And, Damian has a bit of that too, but there's kind of a charm to it. Like, even when Damian talks in this book, there's none of that. Like, that Damian charm and, like, sense of dialogue and, like, kind of that sense of humor that he has, it's not in this book at all. Like, compare this to, say, something in Super Sons, the way Tomasi writes Damian, which is much better, in my opinion, than what Glass is doing. I mean, most people unanimously love Super Sons. It was very beloved, and, of course, we lose that in favor of stuff like this. And aging up John, kind of, damn it, I can't go there again. I know a lot of people have brought this up, and this has been said to death, but it needs to be said again, because how could you do that? Like, you have something so great, and then you just replace it with something that's not even close to as great, and you just keep going with it. But, yeah, so, as you can see, Roundhouse is doing this thing. He was wrong and immature. He was super dangerous. I did all these things. Please let me be in your club again. I know I kidnapped you guys and forced one of my teammates to go back into freaking purgatory, or her prison, they call it purgatory, or whatever, but yeah, that's what's up, and I'm just like, really? Come on. His whole redemption thing, that's way too soon. That's something I feel like needs to be explored more, but I get it. Glass is getting off the book, so he's trying to wrap things up as soon as possible, but it doesn't quite work for me. I feel like that's still way too soon to do that. It's like just like 2 issues ago, he got them kidnapped, and now all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm sorry, and all this stuff. And I get it, like, there's some times where you mess things up, but then there's times like this. I'm sorry, Roundhouse seemed like he'd be more interesting as a villain, but they didn't really dive into that as much as I would have hoped. Again, they're trying to do kind of repeats of the Wolfman and Perez stuff. You have Djinn kind of filling the Raven and kind of the Raven type role, with her brothers being like Elias, and Raven's father was obviously Trigon, although they're kind of mixing it with a bit of Starfire with a little bit of her personality, and of course with Damian being kind of like the fill-in for Dick Grayson and Starfire and their whole will they won't they thing. And Damian obviously has feelings for her, but again, it's still kind of weird to me that she's like several thousand years old, still way too old for him. I get it, she's like biologically a teenager, but it still comes across as kind of weird to me, considering how old she is. It doesn't feel right. And another issue I have too is, well, what's with these faces that Damian's making? I know we're gonna get some new art team, and like I said, everyone else designed just fine, but I just have issues with the way they draw his face. Like, why is he constantly making this dumb face? But yeah, so like this moment here is actually kind of nice and touching, where she tells him to kind of go back. She tells him to forget about him, and Damian doesn't like this. He's getting emotional and worked up a bit. She's getting worked up about it. She doesn't want him to suffer. She's like, just go, forget about me. And he's like, that's not good enough. He's like, I gotta save you. And then Damian is like, hey, the other gave me a chance to be like him, and I can find a way to bring you back. But then Djinn shows him what happens if he ends up becoming the other. And now my issue is we don't actually see what it is, but he's like, it's like everything he wanted, but he's having an emotional breakdown, which means like I think he's finally gonna realize, okay, I'm gonna finally become you again. Since this is Damian's evil version of himself, like it should have had a bigger impact, where he comes to terms with all of his problems, where he realizes like, okay, this whole prison thing, all this stuff I've been doing leads me to becoming you, and like all the problems that can entail. So he's like, okay, I'm cursed, I've had enough of this thing. And then he knocks him down. And so he's like, okay, I'm done with this shit. Like, I've done a lot of terrible things. Like, I can't do this. I can't become the other. So then, obviously, they're going to fight. The other Teen Titans members show up. And they have their little battle with the Book of the Damned. The other kind of crashes through. Like, Crush comes in and knocks him down. And then he kind of falls through his little pit. We don't know if he survives or not. And they end up with his book. The Book of the Damned. You don't have to apologize, Roundhouse. We've all made mistakes that led us here. He doesn't apologize. He's like, we could have worked better together as a team. We still will. Starting now, they're going to start to change things. We're not a team without Djinn. Agreed. Wow, this is good. They're actually kind of acting like a team for the first time, although Damian still has not fucking apologized to Roundhouse for what happened to his sister. This would have been a good chance to have an emotional moment where he's just like, look, I did some terrible things. I keep falling into the same pattern again and again and again, and it's just a continuous problem of mine. Like, I keep falling into this pattern where I keep screwing up. I feel like I make this, and then I keep going back. Maybe it's kind of like I'd almost write that as a critique of, the way he's been kind of written. But like, I wanted to see him fully apologize for what happened to Roundhouse's sister. It's like, I should have done this. I should have checked the perimeter better. I didn't know. Like, he honestly didn't know. Otherwise, he's like, I thought this would happen in the city. I didn't check the perimeter. I didn't even know you guys were there. That's on me, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life, knowing what I did. And it's like, just let them go. Just, if you have to punish somebody, punish me. That would have been more fulfilling. And then you would have had Roundhouse like ready to do it, and then he finally just like he hesitates kind of at the very end, and then you kind of end that thing there. I don't understand why he had to send Djinn in a ring, but I did kind of read the April solicitations, and it does seem like something's going to happen with one of the Titans members. It seems that one of them is going to die. Again, I don't know who. It definitely won't be Damian. I don't see it being Wallace. Crush, I think, is probably going to likely stay. I hope it's not Emiko. So the signs are pointing to Djinn. I wouldn't mind if it's Roundhouse, because he's been my least favorite character in the whole thing, and it would actually make he gives his life. He's like, look, I got you in this situation. It would have been more fulfilling, and it would have felt like his redemption was earned more. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so the team gets the Book of the Damned. He's like, this is our key to getting Djinn back. And he's like, going to take the fight to Elias. And this is our first time kind of seeing Elias kind of in a long time. He's got his little devil thing there. He's got this stuff here. He's playing cards. He's got all his little rings here. I assume these are other Djinns and genies and all that. And so we're going into the Djinn War, which is going to be the final arc that Adam Glass is writing. We're going to find out who the new creative things once the May solicitations come out, so maybe things will change. But based on the April solicitations, obviously solicitations are pretty wrong and misleading oftentimes, but it's definitely giving hints that they're going to have a falling out, which will probably lead to Damian becoming a villain or some shit like that, and I'm so fucking tired of that storyline. I know a lot of fans are. A lot of fans of the character are sick of that. Even the people who came to like the character in Super Sons see the way they're being written like this, and like, oh, I don't like this character anymore. I'm like, it's a continuous problem, and I'm just wish they would just push forward. Look what Tom Taylor did in Deceased. That was great, and people liked it. And like, he didn't become a villain. He stayed heroic. He becomes Batman in it. It was great. But no, we got to do the same villain shit over and over again and just completely shit on character development and regress. I hate it because it takes out, like, it removes hope from the DC Universe. And DC Universe is supposed to, like, be all about hope and, like, things can change. What's the point of going through all that development if you're just going to revert somebody back to a villain? Like, oh, well, that's the tragedy of... No, it's stupid. It's stupid. You just waste people's time if you do that. That, to me, is a waste of time. You go right back to where you started and you're just... completely eliminate things. Now, there is potential to do something interesting with that. If Damian truly is going to lose the Robin mantle, then I've talked with a few people about this, then you got to go something similar to, say, like a Spider-Man, what Spider-Man 2 did. Like, have him just kind of live out his normal life, like outside of the cape stuff, like where he's just kind of just... I know I've heard rumors of 5G that we're going to lose Bruce Wayne no longer be Batman, it's going to be something like Luke Fox. I don't know if all that stuff's going to be true. I certainly hope not. Nothing against Luke Fox, but he hasn't really been a factor in any of these books in forever. But we'll see what kind of happens with this whole thing. And if Bruce is going to fire him, again, this is Teen Titans. It doesn't seem to really affect... Like, writing across the different DC titles is kind of inconsistent. But I assume that's going to have some big effects on some of the other things. So Damian will probably lose his mantle. Either he quits it or his dad's going to fire him. Which, if you're his dad, you got to punish the kid. You got to... And actually maybe be a parent for once, because he hasn't been a parent really in a long time. Except when Tomasi wrote him in Detective Comics, when they had that Arkham Knight arc just recently. That was very good. And it just made me miss Batman and Robin going on adventures together. And it's just frustrating. It's frustrating to see him. Like, just have that. It's good stuff. Roll with it. But yes, as I was saying earlier, if you do have him lose the mantle, the best way to tackle this is to kind of go, like I said, the Spider-Man 2 route, where you just kind of have him just like, okay, like, why do I need to be Robin? Why do I need to be a superhero? Why do I need to get involved in any of this? Have him live out his normal life for a while. and just kind of have him just be a kid for a while. Obviously his dad's going to kind of punish him, and his father should lay the law down, even though his dad make him a hypocrite because he's had prisoners in the Batcave too, like the Joker. If you remember, was it Dark Knight's Metal? He had underneath the Batcave, didn't tell anybody about. So like father, like son there. But maybe Alfred's gone now. Like he doesn't have anybody to look out or watch after him, and Bruce has to step up as a fucking parent for once and not go around on his little beach one shots with Catwoman. Which he was doing in the Tom King books, but thankfully that run is over, and now we have James Tynion doing his thing. And so far, it's like after like an issue or so, it's not been so bad. We'll just kind of see where it goes from here. And obviously, Alfred's gone now, which is obviously going to affect the books. It kind of sucks Alfred's gone because Alfred's such an important character of the Batman mythos, and it felt kind of tacked on. And obviously, Damian was the only one who saw it happen. So there's definitely going to be some like emotional like impact with that. I don't know where this thing takes place. I don't know if this takes place before what they're doing in the Batman books or not. I know the continuity's kind of all over the place, but I do want to see that played out. Like, he's kind of traumatized of it, and he just has to, like, maybe he just gives up being Robin for a while and just kind of gives up the whole, like, cape thing and just kind of just goes in kind of maybe a depressed state where he just kind of just tries to live his life normally for a while. And then eventually when I heard there's a storyline coming up called Joker War, maybe he makes his grand return as Robin. Like, you know what? I'm over this stuff. I got to do things right now. I can't keep falling back into that same pattern again. I'm going to put the mantle back on. I'm going to earn this thing. Like, I have to earn being Robin again. Because, like, wasn't that in the whole thing in his Son of... Or, was it Robin, Son of Batman? Where his whole thing, like, the R stands for redemption. Wasn't that the whole reason he put on the suit? Does he have to be reminded of that again? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen in the Teen Titans books come April or May. May will be the big indication of what really happens. So I guess we got to wait till next month to see the May solicitations. Perhaps they'll get a whole new team. We'll find out who actually passed away in one of the issues. And we'll see where the book goes from here. But, yeah, like I said, artwork in this issue, for the most part, is pretty nice. The action is done well. I don't like the way they've drawn Damian's face at times. I think Damian's had kind of like the, to me, like the design of him has just been kind of weird to look at, especially in the face. It just hasn't really worked for me compared to like the artwork, and I don't know if I have it here. Do I have Detective Comics down here? Let's see. I'm gonna check really quick. Compared to like the artwork in this, like it's just kind of night and day. Like this looks a lot better. Obviously, this was like I think it was Jim Lee who did the cover for this, but like I said, that looks much better than what they were doing with his face and the other thing. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Damian. They teased him being in the Legion of Superheroes, although, again, they teased the Evil Future shit, which I'm not a fan of. And it got kind of annoying. So, like I said, I'm sick of the Evil Future thing. Have them progress, this character progress, be more heroic. I know I haven't really talked as much about the other characters. I don't know what they're going to do with Walt. I don't know what they're doing with Emiko. Is she ever going to tell Damian that why she did what she did? Maybe we'll find that out in the upcoming issues. And we'll find out the reason. Maybe she was jealous. Maybe she was this. Maybe she was that. Who knows? Crush is kind of just like she'll confront her father, I'm sure. Wallace has not really been... He hasn't really done much in this book at all, now that I think about it. Like, really, since the start of it, he's kind of just been like... He was supposed to be like the moral compass of the team, but even then, he hasn't really played much of a factor into that. And it's been kind of disappointing. So, yeah, Glass is coming off the book soon. I have no clue who's going to take it over. I don't know if they're going to give Damian the whole, like, he's going to become Nightwing or type deal, or maybe he's going to become his own original thing, or maybe he's going to become... Part of me thinks maybe he's going to become Red X from the Teen Titans show. I actually think that'd be kind of neat if he put on, like, the Red X suit. I think it'd be kind of cool to see Red X in the comics, but, yeah, that's probably not going to be the case. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on this issue down below. Again, there's some pros there. Like, I think the conversation between him and Jim was nice. It was definitely, like, an emotional one for him and her. I think that was handled pretty well. The Roundhouse thing and Redemption was rushed way too quickly, in my taste. I think that should have been padded out a little bit more. It didn't feel as earned. The ending of the other storyline, considering how much time we spent building up to the other, and he's only in like 2 issues, like seeing him like as 2 issues, I feel like this should have been like at least a 3-issue arc. But again, I understand they're switching new creative teams, and I'm sure they wanted to wrap things up super quickly, but it just felt like they should have condensed things down a bit. But yeah, now we're going to the final arc of the Adam Glass stuff. I've been covering this stuff pretty much since the beginning. I probably should go ahead and review the special from, what was it, like last year or the year before? Or was it 2018? God, it was 2018, I think. I've been talking about this run for a while now. So, yeah. Alright, I've rambled on long enough. Let me know your thoughts on this issue and the state of DC Comics down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And, yeah. Teen Titans 38. Kind of a mixed bag for me. Shows some signs of progress. But again, for how long? Because, as usual, they'll redeem the character and then they'll just go back and, you know, regress and then repeat. Regress, repeat. Regress, repeat. Regress, repeat. I've had enough. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.